How you doing, folks? Hey, Brett Stearnes. We're talking about fall fishing, okay? And we'll go into through winter fishing, and we'll go into spring fishing. So I'm gonna start off right now. What time of year we're in right now? All right. Right now we're in what's called fall, okay? And we got some cold weather coming in. Got a cold front moving up from the north. Right up here, keep this moving on down here, you can see that. And so we got some cooler fishing temperatures right now, okay? So what we're gonna be doing right now, what these bass are doing now, they're almost on what is called a spring pattern. All right, these fish are starting to, what happened? These fish are starting to get on their fall patterns. And they're starting to move up shallow again. Now, I say shallow, I ain't talking an inch of water. I'm talking anywhere from a foot to 6 foot, okay? Because they're chasing all, the perch had their second spawn, they're chasing the perch up on the banks, they're in their small minnows, and all the shad. Chasing them all up on the banks, okay? And they'll do that all the way up until it gets too cold, and they'll move out of that backs of them pockets and in that shallow water. And what they're going to do, they're going to go deep. What I suggest using right now is small imitations. You can use a little small fluke, and I prefer you could use say a spinner bait. Run up and down a bank throwing spinner bait. You can do that, and then that includes us in the winter. Now, our winter fishing totally different. Now, I don't like winter fishing. That's just me. I tell you what. About the only way to catch winter fish, bass, is one of my favorite methods called drop shot. All right, right here you got your sinker right there, and you got a leader. Your line right here, it's about a foot line, tied onto your hook. Then what you're gonna have then, you're gonna have say a small shaky head worm, and you're gonna have that worm. And that worm, what it's going to do, every time you twitch that rod tip, your line's not going to be slack. You let slack out, that worm's going to fall. Keep that line, no slack in that line, and just twitch your rod tip up and down. That worm's just going to do this, and it's going to be suspended right off the bottom. Okay, and that's a great method for winter fishing when the fish are cold and lethargic, because in the fall, they're doing all that feeding on them small perch, fry, and then they're getting it all that fed, then they're going deep. And they're going deep and they ain't gonna eat much. They're real lethargic. It's cold. You don't want to move around when it's cold. Fish don't either. So then another method I like to use called a wacky worm. Alright? Spell it up here. Wacky. Alright? What you got here is a weightless hook attached to your line. I like to tie a Palomar knot. You're going to have your stick worm right here. Now that stick worm, you're going to cast that stick worm out. What it's going to do, it's going to do this right here as it sinks to the bottom. And they're going to sink. I like a Cinco, an Ocho from Strike King. And I use green pumpkin color, that's my favorite color. You can use watermelon, watermelon works well. Just pretends on the watercolor. And that bait's just gonna go like that. Once it hits the bottom, what you wanna do, you wanna pop your rod tip up, and it's gonna make that bait go up again, out of the water column, go back down. Now when I say pop out of the water column, I don't mean pop out of the top of the water like you're setting the hook. Just enough to get that bait off the bottom, so it's going to go like this again. And that's about how you fish wacky rig. And I mean, drop shot. I mean, two very simple winter fishing strategies, you know. And I mean, that's what I like to use in the winter, you know. So that concludes wintertime fishing. And what we're going to go into next is my early spring, okay?